This is Coach with episode 4 of Coach's Corner. It's going to use this episode to talk a little bit about our trip that we took, our cruise out of Galveston on June 22nd. We received some vouchers from our home casino, the Choctaw Casino, for being on the highest tier for some free cruises with balcony rooms. The unfortunate thing about the certificates was there's a short window in which we could actually book a room. So my wife booked this cruise about 2 weeks ahead of the time that it actually was going to occur, maybe 3 weeks before. And as a result, we got the last two rooms on the ship, according to the folks that she called. Uh, I had a free balcony room, and she had a free balcony room. What we decided to do is invite a couple of friends, Kevin and Debbie, to go with us on the cruise. And all they had to do was just take care of their port fees and taxes and gratuity. Uh, and for those that haven't cruised a whole lot, a free cruise is basically it pays for the charges they would charge you for the room. You even any free cruise, you still have to pay for the port fees, the taxes, and the gratuity. For each one of us, it was $251 each for eight days. So still a pretty good. And then all of us got $100 credit on the ship. So basically, $151 out of pocket for the cruise, which is a good deal. Uh, we went on the Harmony of the Seas out of Galveston. Again, it was an 8-day cruise scheduled for the 22nd of June. We left on the 20th, and we spent the night at a Choctaw Casino in southern Oklahoma, and just to kind of split up the trip. And all of us are retired, so there's no need to have to rush down or fly down or anything like that. I played for a couple hours when I got there, and won $275, and then had dinner at the grill there that night. And it's just horrible service, but still we were starving, so we enjoyed the food. Got the next morning, made a trip around the casino, and I made a quick $553 in about an hour and a half before we left. Uh, there's a new machine out that I, has some of the skins, some of the things that you would think of an advantage game, and I did really well in that game on at the Choctaw casinos before we left. We spent the day driving down to Texas City, where we spent the night at the Quality Inn there. Right across from the Quality Inn, there's a little Asian buffet called Yummies, and it's like the third time my wife ate there, and the second time I've ate there. We really enjoyed it. It's kind of pricey, but not too bad. But it's really good food. 22nd, we got on the ship. Get the boarding process was pretty smooth. Probably on there in probably 20-25 minutes. And there's two things I always do when we first go on the ship. First, go to the buffet because I'm usually hungry because we usually eat a lot of breakfast at the hotel that we stayed at. And the second thing is just to make a round to the ship, and of course that round includes making a trip to the casino. We made a trip to the casino, and I counted 47 beatable games, or 47 games that I would probably check throughout the cruise. The ones that you could see, of course, the casino's turned off. The ones that you could see, I didn't see any particularly wonderful plays on any of them. So there wasn't a play that I wanted to come back and be there right when the casino opened. Uh, I went up, took my usual nap as my wife unpacked the room, and then she took a nap. And the cruise, we started heading out, and I went down to the casino and won a little bit, found a couple of plays, and then we got ready for the evening. We went and ate dinner, and then we went and watched the ice skating show. Uh, a lot of Royal Caribbean cruises has an ice skating rink that at certain times people can actually skate on themselves, and also they usually have not ice skating show, and it has some very talented skaters. This one actually, we hadn't been on the Royal Caribbean in a couple of years. This one actually had a different theme from the last one that we saw. So I don't know if all of them have switched their themes, or if this particular ship had a different theme than the other ones. It was a very enjoyable show. Uh, the next day was sea day. I was finding a few plays in the casino. I think we went down two or three different times. We would just make short 15, 20-minute stops and found a few things. I ended up winning $268 that day. I'd won $163 on day one. So I was up around 420, $451 after, or $431 after a couple of days on the cruise ship. That night we went to a production show of Grease. Of course, we all know all the songs of Grease and know all the plot, but the group that did a fantastic job. The guy that did uh, Travolta's role had nailed down his movements and everything just perfectly. I mean, he was quite hilarious. Uh, Next day, uh, we made some periodic stops in the casino. Now I was starting to find a hard time finding plays. I also noticed that there was a couple that was, knew what they were doing, and there was I noticed two other older guys. So this looked like there's maybe four of us that kind of knew what we were doing on the ship. So the plays were starting to be very limited. I had some bad results, and I lost $332 on the third day. The positive thing is we went to 70s trivia, which is basically they show pictures of different events that happened in the 70s, and you had to describe what the event was. Uh, Kevin is just a trivial savant. He just knows so much. And the last the last thing they showed, I didn't have a clue, but Kevin knew right away it was Marvin Miller in the MLB strike, and that was probably the one we ended up winning, and that was probably the reason we won was because Kevin knew that one. I don't think anybody else knew that one. Uh, when you of course Kevin was one of he won one of the trivia contests. He won the sports trivia contest on one Carnival cruise that they went on early, about a half year ago, and he was wanting a ship on a stick, but instead he got a nice 40-cent keychain. So he was still excited that we won everything. The next day was Cozumel, and we got off, walked around a little bit. Wife got off to get her some Z packs, and then we were trying to walk around a little bit, and we just got tired of people trying, just Senor, Senor, come in, come in, come in. These people were just constantly wants to come into their stores. So finally, I said, let's just go back to the ship. And so we went back to the ship, just relaxed and kind of enjoyed the afternoon. I hit the casino on the way down, and there's actually two casinos in this on the ship. There's the big casino that's half smoking and half non-smoking, and then there's a smaller casino that's completely non-smoking. The small casino actually has table games in it as well as the big casino. The table games in the big casino you can smoke at, and of course the tables in the non-smoking machine casino you can't smoke at. But anyways, I was in the non-smoking casino playing a game, and then a guy came and started talking to me, and come to find out he was from Vegas, and so we talked for quite a while. I didn't get a hint that he was an AP or anything, but I continued to play. And the game I played, even though I was playing at dollar level, I got a bonus and ended up getting a jackpot. So uh, I won like 1354 on the jackpot, which was a welcome after losing a welcome side after losing the day before. I went down to the main casino, and a guy come up and asked me if I was working with the team, and I go, no. And he goes, well, I know what you're doing because I was looking at a certain machine, and I said, no, I'm a lone ranger, lone wolf, and so we started talking. He was from Vegas. Well, actually, come to find out, the first guy that I talked to and the second guy I talked to were actually staying in a room together. So we started talking, and he said, "You're having a hard time finding a place." I said, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "Well, you make number 10 of the people that are advantage players on the ship." And so, unlike MWUSA, I did not have the ship to myself by any means. Uh, we talked for quite a while, enjoyed the conversation with them. Uh, Come to find out that they had mainly been playing on Carnival ships. And a couple things about Carnival, they have started to crack down on advantage players. I've heard stories. I had a friend that went on a Carnival cruise, and he said that there's a group of three Asians in a family that just would constantly stay behind a certain machine. You never could get to the machine; they would just camp out the whole time the casino was open. Uh, so I asked these guys point blank. I said, "Well, did y'all get?" They said, "Well, we're on here because we're not on Carnival anymore." I said, "Well, did y'all get banned?" And the one guy said, "No, I didn't get banned, but what happened was I had 23 cruises booked through the casino, and they took all those away from me. And so it's kind of maybe similar to a band. I don't know, but anyways, he said that they're looking at litigation because whenever he booked the cruise, it's a contract, and Carnival voided their contracts. He said it wasn't so much that and they seem to be pretty well under the radar because I would not have noticed them. This is day four, and I had not noticed them in the casino before, and they said they'd been there, so they were pretty good about not doing the obvious things, not wearing the earbuds and the backpack thing and all that stuff. They were a little bit more laid back as far as approaching the machines and stuff, and so they may not have been nailed in that part, but his theory was that Carnival's having no issues filling cruise ships, and so what they're wanting to do is just fill them with people that are paying rather than people that are getting free cruises. Kind of corporate greed. It's kind of like it made me think of the Strip. As long as the Strip has a large volume of people coming, a lot of first time people coming, they can get away with charging $56, $60 a night for resort fees. They can charge $30 for parking and all that stuff because people are still going to come. I think it's just part of the corporate greed. I mean, it's probably they are a corporation. They're in there to make money, so I guess that's part of it. And I'll go in a little bit more about that towards the end. The next day was at Costa Maya. We did not get off the ship. We just relaxed and enjoyed the ship. Uh, Went to casino a few times, but I lost $183 that day. I started being a little bit more selective once I found out that there's just so many people in there. I just kind of quit worrying about getting my points and stuff, and but I still found enough plays to get my points eventually. Next day was Honduras. We got off for a short period of time, and then we came back, and in the casino I won $309 that night. We saw a production show it's about Columbus, but it's actually about probably not true, but about Columbus's little known slacker brother, and they of course they put music into it as a musical, but it was quite enjoyable. I had not seen this production show either. Uh, Next day was the last day of the cruise. I won $144 on a few various games. That evening, we went to 80s Name That Tune, and that was the one I was really looking forward to. And between Kevin and I, we got all 20 songs out of 20 correct. Uh, I think the difference maker for us was we knew Kids in America by Kim Carnes and Video Killed the Radio Star. A lot of people missed that one. But we won some keychains, and we won also they added a backpack, a Royal Caribbean backpack. So we was debating on, who got the backpack. So, but we said, well, maybe we'll flip a coin for it. But anyways, they had a lip sync contest after that, and so I'd gone to the bathroom, and unbeknownst to me, when I came back from the bathroom, I was signed up for the lip sync concert. So I guess there was a little something going on while I was gone. So the lip sync contest was 8 people, and it was kind of like a tournament format. You went heads up with someone, and then you advanced to the semifinals if you did. Well, I was my competition. We were the third round of the first round, or the third game of the first round per se, or matchup, and whoever I was supposed to lip sync against didn't show up. So I got a first round bye, so that was the easy part. So got the second round, met up with the guy that made it to the course of the second round, and the people that put it on, they pick the music for you, so you don't know what you're going to lip sync to. And on this round, you lip sync you lip sync for a short period of time, and then the other person lip syncs, and you perform and do whatever you want. Well, I stood up there, and the guy goes, "You're going to enjoy this song. It's sung by Freddie." And as soon as he said Freddie, I said, "Oh yeah!" I said, "Queen. It's going to be Queen because Queen is one of my all-time favorite bands." Uh, sure enough, it was Bohemian Rhapsody. So I had no trouble going on to the finals. Well, the finals, I met up with a lady. Her semifinal competition was the Flashdance song, where I don't know if you ever seen the movie, but where the girl sits down in a chair and the water splashes on her, and she did a fantastic job with it. So the difference in the finals too was before that they had 3 judges, and then the finals everybody in the room picked had to by applause pick the winner, and the other difference was we performed together. Well, we got Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, so I did my at the age of 64, I did the best I could to moonwalk some during it, and did some of Michael Jackson moves. I remember there's a part in the video where he gets his hat, he tips his hat, and he gets up on his toes. So I went to do that at that part of the song because I was pretty familiar with the video. And when I got up on my toes, my calf cramped. And of course, Kevin and everybody at the group started laughing. They thought I was just faking it, but it's actually for real. So, but anyways, I ended up winning the lip sync contest, and I got a backpack, so Kevin and I didn't have to fight over the other backpack. So that was a lot of fun. Another thing we did several times, several different nights, was we went and saw a piano bar guy, the guy that plays at the piano. He was hilarious. Uh, First night we had sat down to listen to him. I sat down for a second. And I told my wife, I said, I got to go to the bathroom. So I got to walk over to the bathroom, and he stopped in the middle of the song and said, "You leaving so soon?" I go, "No, I just got." And he goes, "Were you the guy that yelled Freebird earlier?" And I said, "Yeah." And of course I wasn't. I'd just gotten there, and so he said, "Okay, well, if the price is right." So I put a 5 in his tip jar, and he started playing Freebird. In the middle of the song, he started saying, "This song is long, and I'm going to make it longer because I know this guy's got to go pee." And he was just hilarious. And so that after that first night, I was walking to the casino later on, and I heard Freebird yelled, and it was the piano player. And so anytime we went, of course, he'd harass me and just call me Freebird, and so we just got a kick out of that. But he was really enjoyable and really fun. And we listened to a couple of bands during the cruise as well. Uh, we got off the cruise and we drove back to Grant and spent the night, or in southern Oklahoma. I lost $78 that night, and then on the way home we made about 3 or 4 stops on different casinos, uh, and I won $378 on the trip home. One of the funny things was we was near Eufaula, Oklahoma, and Debbie said she had to go to the bathroom. So I said, "Well, there's a little quaint casino here." So we pulled into it, and they got such a kick out of the casino. It's a creek casino, and it's actually just in a trailer, and so they got a kick that the casino was in just a trailer. Uh, there's also a payphone in there, and it, there's a vending machine, and I just started dying laughing. There was a in the vending machine you could get tuna salad with crackers, and so I told anybody in our group, I said, "I'll give you $100 if you buy that tuna salad and you eat it now." Well, nobody would take me up on it. So, but anyways, I have to say this casino has character. Uh, we got back on the interstate and we looked over about a mile down the road, and I was kind of disappointed to see they were actually building a big, new, nice, modern casino that's going to take the place of the little one in the trailer. So, a couple year or so away, that I guess the little trailer casino will be closed. For the cruise itself, I ended up finishing $1,943 up, which I felt like was pretty good considering uh, how much competition I had on the ship. Of course, most of that was that one jackpot I got, and then I also won $300 one night playing 2-5 no limit poker. Uh, Again, like MWUSA mentioned, the rake is kind of hideous. Well, it's not kind of, it is hideous. A little difference from Royal Caribbean from what he experienced in Norwegian is the max on the pot is $15. Another thing is if you take down the pot before uh, there's a flop, there's no rake to that pot. I think one time I had pocket kings and somebody had a straddle to make it $10, and there was like 5 callers, so there's like almost $60 in the pot. When it got to me, I was on the button, and I just moved all in and took the pot down then and won $60 without any rake. So that was kind of nice on that one hand. Uh, I was surprised when I look back at my notes. This was our 7th cruise in the Royal Caribbean. Uh, in spite of all the competition, this is the most I've ever won on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Was $1,943. uh, my second best results was in December of 2021, where I won $1,217. And I know on that cruise, I played 4 different set and go poker tournaments and finished in the last 2 on all 4 tournaments and just chopped the pot. And that's where most of the money came from that. uh, Out of the 7 Royal Caribbean cruises, I've won on 6 of them and lost on 1. And most of them, I won like $300 or $200 when I won. And I know looking back, and I can recall uh, all these cruises were between 2019 and 2022. At that time, especially after 2019, I knew what to look for on slots, but the slot selection on all the cruises that I'd gone on, the slots were so old that you had very few opportunities to play a winning slot. Uh, I think since then, Royal Caribbean's updated all their inventory and as much many more new machines. In fact, you couldn't find any of the old machines that I found on the earlier cruises. So Royal Caribbean has updated that as far as things go, as far as opportunities for like I said, the 43 machines is a high number of machines on a cruise ship that that you have possibility of winning on. Again, if your competition's high, then that's a different story. My wife and I both reached what's called the prime level. To reach the prime level, you have to earn 2,500 points, and it doesn't have to be on just one cruise. It could be over a couple of cruises that you earn these points. The earning period is between April 1st and the end of March, which it's kind of an odd time, but that's when the earning period is. Once you reach 2,500 points on one, two, three, four cruises during that time, you reach the prime level, and the biggest perk of the prime level is you get free drinks in the casino anytime you're in there. So uh, there's other benefits. I think there's $200 off at one of some of the stores. There's a discount on internet, and mainly is you start generating offers from the casino too for free cruises. But there's a couple other tiers. They're pretty high. I think the next tier is 15,000 points, but which the benefits could start rolling deeper and stuff. But the neat thing about Prime is a couple of things. One thing is once you earn it, unlike Carnival, on Carnival, if you earn 1,500 points on a cruise, you get free drinks for the rest of the cruise. That doesn't necessarily roll over to the next cruise you do at Carnival. You actually have to start over. On Prime, once you reach Prime, in any cruise you take for my wife and I, any cruise we take from now on until the end of March of next year, we get free drinks, and we maintain prime status. But it also, it's kind of like earning 7 stars with Caesars. It rolls over to the next year. So actually, we have until the end of March in 2027 that we will be prime on any of the Royal Caribbean cruises. So we'll get the free drinks and a couple of other benefits up until that time. So that's something that's nice about Royal Caribbean. Also, if we continue to, if say if we went on several Royal Caribbean cruises, we continue to earn points to go to the next levels. As long as we earn those levels before the end of March, we would reach the next level, which we would hold for the next following year as well. Another thing with Royal Caribbean is you accumulate quite a bit of free play off your points. I think I had $69 in free play. My wife had $83 in free play. You don't get that in Carnival, and you can cash out your points before you leave to get the free play, and everybody suggested that you do that. And we don't have another Royal Caribbean cruise scheduled anytime soon, so it made sense to go and do that. Again, once you cash out your points, those points that you accumulated towards reaching levels don't disappear. So I think I had 3,500 points, and I played off those points as far as free play. But if I got another Royal Caribbean cruise, if I wanted to earn points towards the next tier, I would start with 3,500 and earn as far as tier status goes. So that's kind of a neat perk that Royal Caribbean has. Uh, some of the discussion on the ship and before and during the cruise concerning Carnival was, and I talked to these guys quite a bit from again over the different days of the cruise. I'd run into them in the casino, and I talked to these guys from Vegas, and their theory is right now, if you're an advantage player, and if you're not very obvious, it'd be a good time to get on a Carnival cruise because so many of the people that were uh, cruising cruise after cruise and camping out on machines have been banned. I would say if you get on there, you probably want to mix up your play with a few non-advantage games as well, not be just obvious. Of course, obvious don't walk up and play the piano in the casino because I'm sure they're looking for that. We don't have any carnival cruises planned very soon, and I'm not sure if we're going to because here's the other thing that was some of the discussion before we got on the ship and while we were on the ship. Carnival's changed their policy, and one thing that a lot of cruises have is where you reach different levels as far as the number of nights you stay on the cruise, the number of days you stay on the cruise, and the top level on Carnival is Diamond level, and it's kind of like a lifetime achievement in a way. And once you reach Diamond level, you're supposedly going to be Diamond for life. Well, they decided in their greed or infinite wisdom recently to change that policy. Uh, Now they want you have to earn 50,000 points within a 6 year span to maintain Diamond, and the way to earn points is you can for each point you earn in the casino, it can count towards the 50,000 points. And I think $2.50 coin in on slots gets you a point. You can get, of course, the Carnival credit card and spend money, on it and get points on it. You can spend on the cruise ship, or you can spend money that Carnival wants, and then you can get your points and maintain your diamond status now. So for those people like my wife, who has been on a Carnival ship, unfortunately for her, over 200 nights, she can no longer keep her diamond status unless she wants to spend the $50,000 in coin in or whatever it takes to keep the diamond status, which is, you know, that shows there's no sense of loyalty for the company towards the long term people that have been loyal customers to them for years. My wife's been a loyal customer to Carnival. We started our first cruise on Carnival, so it just kind of naturally gravitated towards that. Uh, and she wore as a badge of honor that she was a diamond member. I'm platinum, which is the next level up, but she's not sure she wants to actually go on Carnival anymore since they are not going to honor their loyal customers. And again, I think it goes back to what the guy said from Vegas. Right now, Carnival has no trouble filling their ships, with new customers that are paying all the time, and so they're okay with that. I don't know. I mean, I mean, some of y'all listening may be big Carnival fans, but and I'd say we have been, but I think we're gravitating away from that. I think we're looking more at Royal Caribbean and Princess. We really enjoyed our only Princess cruise that we took earlier in the year. But anyways, cruising's still fun. I mean, it's hit and miss as far as casinos go. You probably just listened recently to NWUSA where he was the only one on the ship and made $10,000. I had nine other people I was competing against, and most of them were very cordial. Most of them were fine. I mean, we by the end of the cruise, everybody pretty well recognized who the other APs were, and wasn't any hassles. There was one guy that was semi aggressive. I didn't have any encounters with them, but I heard some other people mention they had encounters with him, and there wasn't anybody really. Oh, no, I won't take that back. I won't say there wasn't anybody camping. There were still campers. There were still people camping behind machines. There are certain games that I just kind of gave up on even looking at because I'd walk towards the game and look there'd be two or three guys standing around, and I knew who they were. So that can be frustrating. So it's part of just being in regular casinos as well. Sometimes you go to a casino, you're all excited to walk in. You see six other people doing what you're doing, and so the only trouble on it, you can when you're on land, you can leave that casino and go somewhere else. When you're a cruise ship, you're stuck there. So I still felt fortunate to win as much as I did. We had a good time. Kevin and Debbie enjoyed it. They had a good time. So it was a fun trip. So uh, until later, I hope a lot of you guys hit a lot of bonus rounds, a lot of jackpots. And oh yeah, other big news. I don't know if y'all have heard or not. I guess in the big beautiful bill, uh, I saw something, and I talked to a couple of casino employees yesterday that starting in 2026, they're going to raise the threshold for the jackpot to $2,000. So that can help out as far as not as many W2Gs for a lot of us. So that'll be good news as well. So until later, this is Coach with Coach's Corner. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.